This is my presentation overviews, my alternative assessment. Presentation 1, the beauty within Asia. This presentation, this group did a TikTok and they also did an Instagram. And this is about pretty much the beauty within Asia, exactly how the title is. And on their Instagram, they have, a lot of skincare, makeup products that are Asia based. And on their TikTok, which is really good, there's one particular TikTok that kind of goes over fake and real with like Asia beauty and kind of comparing like their makeup. Again, a lot of skincare, like showing a lot of skincare products, quick like 30-second videos on like, applications of skincare products and lipsticks and etc. There was this article I came across because I feel like this beauty within Asia, like it's very talked about, and I feel like it's a really, really, really good topic to use for this kind of like for this assessment because you can find so much on it and it's so big and this topic is so big because and it's so talked about. So there was this article I came across from Business of Fashion, and so there was this little quote. But most experts agree that despite the hurdles they face, Asia's leading beauty brands will continue to infuriate markets in the West by combining ancient ingredients with advanced science and clever branding. Many will continue to shape consumer behavior there too. So the beauty standards in Asia, it's very talked about. So they kind of was able to kind of hit the nail on its head on what exactly is the beauty within Asia, how was this identified, and they really kind of showed that through their TikToks. I feel like their TikToks was a little bit more effective in addressing this issue more so than their Instagram. The Instagram was kind of just like showcasing the products, taking photos of them, and whatnot. But I feel like with their TikToks and their presentation, it was really well done. It was really thorough, and they kind of went over everything that they needed to go over, and they really dove in deep into this topic. And I feel like overall they did a really good job. And yeah, I think it was very informative. And again, I really like the TikToks, and they addressed that very well. So this is presentation 2. They did China's internet censorship. This is I found this like really, really, really interesting topic. So China's internet censorship, I kind of took the main points I kind of gathered that was the most important from their presentation. So I've kind of put them into dot points here. Then they've kind of finished on their plan and how they kind of are going about, to address this and what they're going to kind of do, and their focus and their goals for this. I feel like out of all the groups, this presentation was probably the most thorough and the most detailed and the most kind of well thought out. I really enjoyed this and I felt like they had a lot of really, really good things in there that kind of added a bit more kind of edge to their presentation. And I feel like this kind of topic is a very interesting topic and it definitely stands out to the rest, in my opinion. And I think it's very big as well. So I think it was a great topic to address. So here are I'm just going to go over a few points that I kind of took out from the presentation, as mentioned. So the current issues, so as of March 2021, new regulations have been created by China to control what is being posted online by Chinese citizens. There are multiple regulatory bodies that oversee online content, news media, television, broadcast, etc. The regulation on administration of publication, they talked a lot about that as well. That was a very big point that they made. They also talked about why it was happening. And they mentioned, overall these rules have been established to keep China's population following the expectations its rulers dictate. They go into why it was an issue. They also talked a lot about China's views on gender and masculinity, and they had 2 case studies on that, which was very thorough. And then they go into their plans. So their goal to explore digital technologies behind modern censorship, and their focus, so that was to implement a machine learning process to identify tweets that do not meet given criteria. They did testing of this. They included the testing of their tweeting. That was a big thing for them, and they included a screenshot where they had if it was passed or didn't pass, and they had a lot of their testing testing screenshots in there. So that was really good. That's something I found like they stood out with that, because I feel like the other groups didn't really do that at all, or not as well as this group did. So I really liked how they included that. I found the tweets was really effective and really helped the presentation a lot also. So this is presentation 3. This was Dating Sim podcast. So dating simulators are types of interactive fiction games originated in Japan to provide people with romantic and sexual relationships free from the risk of rejection and complications. This was one of the opening statements of their presentation. This was a very interesting one. I found this quite, again, this kind of stood out to me as well. They really went into depth about the dating apps, and it's kind of like it's very fantasy like, and they definitely touch and they went into that. It's very fantasy like, it's almost like too good to be true. Like free from the risk of rejection and complications. This is like everyone wants this in life. It's so fantasy like, and it's so like um hopeful and very like wishful kind of thinking. um I feel like it's very fake. So it was very interesting to kind of um this presentation to me was very interesting, and they touched on the romantic and sexual relationships and how it kind of works, and um how people gain like relationships from this. And I would really like to see like some testing, like okay, like let's get some stories from people who have actually experienced this and what happens, and that would be really good as well. I wish they included more of that. I'd really like to see more testing as well. Um, but no, like the information side of it and actually going into the game and what it is and how it works, that was really good, and they were quite informative about that. So this was presentation 4, the distribution of South Korean films, series through digital platforms. So again, similar to the other presentation, I took out the main points from the presentation, or the ones that I thought was they kind of they talked about the most, and the ones that stood out for me that was the most important for this kind of topic. This topic is very specific. It's not as broad as the other ones. I feel like it's very specific, and I really liked how they kind of went about. They brought up the Squid Game, which was very good on their behalf because it's been so popular and talked about nowadays. That was very good to mention that. I felt like in the presentation that kind of caught everyone's attention because everyone knew what they were talking about. So that's how they kind of like kept everyone engaged. And I feel like this is a very engaging topic in general. So you got, like they mentioned BTS and K-pop, and they went on to the celebrities, and they kind of talked about that in the sense of it, like going into a topic, and they talked about memes. And then you got the top 3 network stations. So you got KBS, SBS, and MBC. So I feel like in this topic, everyone knows what they're talking about. They talk about things, the niche market and the like global phenomenon. They talk about things that people know about, and they just kind of went into more depth, a lot more depth. And they, went into detail on the information. They brought up really great points, so like kind of facts. So K-dramas have pushed Korean cultural exports past 10 billion. This presentation, it was very informative, but not only that, it wasn't like an overload of information. Well, it was a lot of information, but it wasn't an overload because I was still at least able to keep my attention study. Like I was actually really interested in this, and I didn't really get tired of listening to them because the information that they kind of spoken to us about, we know about. Example, the Squid Game memes. Like this is stuff that we want to know about, we're interested in, especially in this day and age. So I'm just gonna go over some other points. So the Korean, they talk about the Korean wave. So the Korean wave refers to the global popularity of South Korean's cultural economy, exploring pop culture, entertainment, music, TV dramas, and movies. The initial phase of the Korean wave can be traced to South Korea's sport of television dramas to mainland China, Taiwan, several other Southeast Asian countries. And then again, they went into the top three network stations. They talked about, the introduction of streaming services, how they are caused by the significant growth in the Korean television industry, K-dramas, and they gave multiple examples of this. K-dramas have gone from niche market to a global phenomenon, just like I talked about before as well. And again, they kind of popped in those facts about, the um, Korean culture exports past the 10 billion. I really did like the presentation. It was very informative and a lot of information. However, they were able to keep our attention since this is such an easy this topic. There are things such as the Squid Game and memes that keep our attention going, and this is all included under the topic, and it's interesting and it's fascinating. And yeah, again, it's very informative.